glory is inviting you to begin again. Come to a place where wealth,
Dead Money was the first piece of downloadable content released for Fallout New Vegas, coming out as an Xbox 360 exclusive in December 21st of 2010, just 2 months after the initial release of the game. It was released for PC and PlayStation a couple months later in February. Now, considering the overall success of Fallout New Vegas, both from critics and the audience, it's understandable to see why this add-on had a lot of hype and anticipation. However, Dead Money quickly garnered a lot of criticism for being one of the worst and most challenging DLCs of any Fallout game ever, and its reviews weren't much better. However, I could understand why people would say this, because if there's one thing we can all agree upon about Dead Money, it's that it's very challenging. It dumps you in this brand new hostile environment with nothing in your inventory and forces you to adapt if you want to survive. However, that's what makes it so fun. The beauty in the add-on is that it's challenging and forces us to think outside of the box. Combined with its strong story, character design, and rewards, I want to make the case that Dead Money is actually the best DLC in Fallout New Vegas, and here's why.
But getting to it, that's not the hard part. It's letting go.
The first aspect I want to talk about is the atmosphere. When we first wake up, we're greeted to a projection of Father Elijah, who explains that we have a bomb collar wrapped around our neck, and that we need to go find 3 other people who suffered the same fate, and now we're forced to cooperate to fulfill Elijah's grand plan, and if we don't, he can blow up any one of our collars, which causes everyone else to die as well. So right at the beginning, Dead Money makes it clear that we have very little control, and if we want to play the game, we have to play it on its terms. This is a stark contrast to the free-reign, open-world experience we had in the Mojave. Normally we would say, psh, no problem, I'm the best courier in the post-apocalyptic world. But when we open our inventory, we can see that we have nothing but a jumpsuit, a hollow rifle, and some trash bulk microfusion cells. So everything we've relied upon up until this point has been taken away from us. It's almost as if we're starting a brand new game, and now we have to scavenge for these Sierra Madre chips so we can buy what little resources they offer at these vending machines scattered around the Sierra Madre. Additionally, because the vending machine accepts cigarettes and clothes in exchange for chips, we now have a newfound interest in items that we would normally ignore in the base game because they have new value in the Sierra Madre economy, so we can buy our precious Dandy Boy apples. The whole survival horror atmosphere really comes into play the first time we meet the ghost people who live here. I know I can't be the only one who felt genuine terror the first time I saw this spooky boy walk across my screen. Add in the constant threat of the toxic cloud, the endless supply of bear traps, tripwires, rigged shotguns, pressure plates, and frag mines, and you have something that's waiting to kill you around every single corner. These serve as a constant reminder that you're not the immortal man or woman who roamed the Mojave, laying waste everywhere you went. You now have to adopt a more silent and sneaky playstyle in order to make sure you don't die. This not only humbles you, but opens up an entire new state of mind to play the game. I think this makes for a refreshing and rewarding experience because every small gain in Dead Money feels like a massive victory. Whether it's finding a few extra rounds of ammo, a couple stim packs hidden in a briefcase, or making it out of a zone without any crippled limbs, we have a newfound excitement for these things that we had generally lost in the Mojave by the time we reached the mid and late game. Finally, when you factor in how the radios affect our bomb collar, we have an entire new gameplay mechanic that causes us to always be on our toes and run the risk of running through a hallway to a safe spot or finding out the hard way that we're going to explode. Once we finally activate the gala event and gain access to the casino, we're presented with a welcome change of atmosphere. When we turn on the power, the casino provides us with a sense of safety and normalcy compared to what we were experiencing in the outer city. As hologram dealers and vendors come to life, we can even enjoy some of the activities that remind us of the Mojave. It feels like we can finally take a long-needed break to just sit down and relax. However, Dead Money reminds us to never get too comfortable, because we then have to worry about these invincible security holograms that will blast us to death if we stare at them too long. The fact that the only way to avoid them is to sneak by them or turn off their sensors adds a really nice sneaking mechanic to the game. I think all of these aspects combine to create a very convincing survival horror atmosphere where every little supply, such as some food or a stim pack, suddenly feels very precious, and we constantly have the fear of death from some of the endless threats in the Sierra Madre. Reigniting the novelty of these emotions is one of the main reasons why Dead Money feels so challenging and fun to play, not in spite of its difficulty, but because of it. The next strength that Dead Money has is its story and characters. The most important part of the story is the narrative of letting go. As we progress through the DLC and learn more about the different characters, this theme starts to make more and more sense. Each NPC has something personal they need to let go of, whether it's greed, power, revenge, or trauma. Dean explains the history of the Sierra Madre and how him and Vera planned to fool Sinclair so they could rob his hidden vault.
Sinclair was already puppy-eyed, so all I had to do was the introductions. She smiled, fluttered her eyes, showed a little leg. All she had to do was get inside the Sierra Madre for the gala, then use her voice to open the door. After that, smooth sailing would have been the biggest heist in history. Sinclair left holding the bag, ruined.
Sinclair actually discovered their plans and trapped Vera in her room, causing her to eventually take her own life because she had no way to escape. Her inability to let go of her greed caused her own death. It also led to the death of many other hotel guests when the hotel went into lockdown, as Vera mentioned she could hear them banging on the walls, trying to break them down and escape. However, many of them eventually chose the same fate as Vera, as they found their own ways to let go. The holograms roaming the hallways recorded her last words as she figured all of this out. I mean, just listen to how creepy and unsettling this dialogue is.
Sinclair, where did you go? Why did you leave me here? Why? Sinclair? Sinclair, I'm trapped. Please. Oh God, the security systems won't let me out. They're keeping me here. I'm going to die here, amongst the ghosts. I'm still being recorded by the holographic system. Let go. Let go of what?
Despite knowing all of this, Dean is still fixated on his greed over 200 years later, refusing to let go. He wants to prove to Sinclair that he was right all along, just for the sake of his own ego.
Do to me. What, weren't you listening? He thought he was better than me. Don't believe me? Look around. This big casino, this big colossal monument. Think it was for some woman? No. All ego, all self-righteous in lights, fit him perfect. Had to take him down a few pegs, bring him down to my level. Begin again? Some things you don't get up from. I was going to prove it.
Dog and God are a bit different because they aren't interested in the casino loot. Rather, they need to let go of the trauma that is causing him to suffer from multiple personality disorder. Dog is obsessed with hunger, and God is obsessed with control. By letting go of these emotions, he can blend his personalities together and finally gain clarity.
I don't know you, yet I feel like I do, and a feeling of gratitude. Forgive me, I'm wounded. This chain, this bear trap on my arm. How did I even get this far with these wounds? The pain is excruciating. I need to rest for a moment.
Christine has to let go of her desire for revenge over Elijah. She was tasked to hunt down and kill Elijah as part of the Brotherhood's internal organization known as the Circle of Steel. She has been tracking him ever since he left Helios 1. She followed him to the Big Empty and finally ended up here, where you can convince her to let go of her revenge.
I can't let him leave here. Look, you've done so much, and he's not going to show himself until you go down there. I can't let go. Every time I've thought about it, I've lost him so many times. He needs to die. What happened here with us? He's done so much worse. You have to promise me. Promise me you'll deal with him. If I see him, All right, I'll need to leave this floor. He'll pick up my collar and...
Then we have Elijah, who follows his desires for greed and power to his own death. After his failure at Helios 1, he wanted to transform the Sierra Madre into his own personal fortress. The toxic cloud could wipe out cities of any living thing while preserving all the technology there. And he could deploy armies of invincible holograms to anyone else who stood in his way.
What do I want? Weapons, security, a citadel of my own. The Madre is all these things. It's a fortress, a weapon, a chance to begin again. The cloud allows me to wipe the slate clean. Collars ensure cooperation. Holograms, defense. The vending machines provide everything else. The Sierra Madre can kill nations and build them, using its technology with the right applications.
Of all the characters, Elijah is the one who is most incapable of letting go. He is so obsessed with his dream that he kidnaps people and puts bomb collars on them to force them to do his bidding. Eventually, though, his decisions catch up to him and he receives the most fitting and ironic death.
What's this? Alarms. What? You think you can run? This entire structure is mine to command. Security, weapons, all. You think you've outsmarted me? You can't get away. You're the one on a leash. You always were.
Finally, we have the courier, who, after all of our hard work, struggling to survive in the Sierra Madre, expects to be compensated somehow. Of course, the game teases us with the massive pile of gold bars at the end, but I assume many of us quickly learned during the first time we played the DLC that we won't be able to escape Sinclair's vault in time if we choose to hoard all of them in our inventory and become over-encumbered. Thus, at the end, even the courier is forced to let go. However, people have figured out ways to be crafty and sneak out with all the gold bars, which, if you think about it, is ironic and shows us a lot about human nature. As gamers, it hurts us so much to leave all the juicy loot behind, so of course we figured out a way to hoard everything from the vault back home. However, it's not just the loot we had to let go, but also the companions and relationships we made with them. We learned that they don't wait up for us after the casino, so despite surviving all of these troubles together and learning to appreciate each character in their own way, we have to let all of it go and never see them again. The theme of letting go is so nicely woven into each character and becomes more relatable as the story unravels. Considering there's only 4 NPCs in the entire DLC, they need to have strong opinions and voice acting to allow them to shine, which I think they certainly do. Elijah is an excellent villain, and all the companions feel distinct and memorable. Overall, I think the way the story and characters are designed is just masterfully done. Finally, I want to talk about the rewards we get from Dead Money. Out of all the DLCs, Dead Money has arguably the best rewards. As previously mentioned, you can sneak out of the vault with all 37 gold bars, and then you could sell these and have enough caps to buy basically everything you could ever need back in the Mojave. However, Dead Money has an even better reward than the gold bars, and that's the drop box that fills with 100 Sierra Madre chips and 1 complimentary voucher every 3 days, and the abandoned Brotherhood of Steel bunker after you finish the add-on. The voucher can be redeemed for 1,000 chips, which means you're getting 1,100 chips in total every 3 days. However, the voucher can only be used if you gambled in the casino and reached the 7,500 chip reward, because this is when you're given one, and then it unlocks the ability to use it moving forward. So I highly recommend to do that, otherwise the voucher is useless and can't be redeemed. As we know, these chips can be spent on some of the best resources in the entire game. Stim packs, super stim packs, doctor's bags, weapon repair kits, chems, ammo, food, etc. Thus, you have an infinite supply of these items after beating Dead Money. You never have to worry about healing yourself or keeping your weapons repaired for the rest of the game. Granted, you do have to spend some time searching for all the holotapes while you're in the Sierra Madre, but it's definitely worth it. The doctor's bags and food are also really helpful, especially if you're on hardcore mode. The overall value this adds to your character is far better than any of the other DLCs in my opinion. It's almost too good, to the point that it can make the game too easy. However, after what we endured in the Sierra Madre, I'd say we deserve it. Dead Money may have started out with a bad reputation, but Fallout New Vegas is almost 12 years old at this point. I think many of us have had the opportunity to replay the game and develop a greater appreciation for some of the aspects we may have misunderstood when we were younger. In that sense, I think Dead Money has aged like fine wine. The challenging design and gameplay, intriguing story and characters, and satisfying rewards all combine to create what I think is the best piece of downloadable content for the entire game. Anyways, I appreciate you if you've watched this until the end. Please let me know if you agree or disagree with me about Dead Money in the comments, as I'm interested to see what you all believe. If you could like and subscribe, that would be great, and I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you.
Finding it, though. That's not the hard part. It's letting go.
It's letting go.
It's letting go.
It's letting go.
It's letting go.